So maybe you want to buy or you want to sell your home in 2025. You're going to want to watch this video because you might make the wrong decision based on the wrong information. And like a lot of people, you could end up regretting it. Or maybe you get the right information, you make the right decision, and you're confident and you don't have any regrets. So if you're thinking about buying a home or selling a home in 2025, obviously, every year we go through this. It's a new market, it's a new timing, rates, all that stuff. But this year, let's be honest, it's going to be truly different. Why is it going to be different? Well, let's jump in and talk about it. Number one is we're going to have a new president-elect, Donald Trump, and he's going to come out, whether it has to do with the economy or with interest rates, with the border crisis, with wars, whatever it is, that is going to be impactful in ways that we might not know. That could impact the economy, that could impact businesses, that could impact jobs, that could impact interest rates. So if he comes out and he wants to bring those rates down and rates come down, you and I know that are watching this, if rates are lower, that's much better if you're selling a property or buying because affordability is going to be helpful. But it might not be as good for buying because if there's not enough inventory, prices could go up. The second thing that's happening that did not even happen last year at this time. The end of last year, we started talking about we're going to cut rates. Well, those rate cuts came way later than expected because if you remember, rates were terrible this time and they talked about the rate cuts and then they fell down and they came back up. So hopefully this year we'll have less volatility in rates because obviously inflation was literally 9% and now it's down to 2.7 and dropping. It's still not at the Fed's target rate of 2%, but rates are coming down. We're already 2 rate cuts in at 75 basis points. So at the beginning of last year and the prior years, we were dealing with rates possibly going up and raising rates. So finally this year we're starting off where we will continue to see rate cuts. And if the economy weakens, if jobs market weakens, rates should slowly come down. Number 3, what's different about this 2025 than last year? The one thing I'm going to say is I think for a lot of people is the acceptance. Kenny, I didn't get that. The acceptance of actually where rates are. Because we've been jerked around for year after year thinking rates are going to go lower than higher. We've been on this roller coaster. So a lot more buyers, sellers, owners are realizing, hey, we might be in these higher rates for longer because of uncertainty, because of a Fed that's just not as aggressive, or because the market or economy is doing better than we all think. So I think we're seeing much more of acceptance of, hey, maybe we are going to have to live with rates in the 6s and 5s, and that's just how it's going to be for a while. I'm feeling that. I'm seeing that, and being in the business, obviously, of where we make loans and help people buy, refi, properties. I'm seeing that much more where people are not so focused on rate. Now they're just kind of focused on, can I afford it? Can I buy it? And things like that. And last but not least, what is one more thing that was not in 24 that is in 2025? I think it's going to be a year of transparency. And let me jump into that. I think you're going to see a new administration come in. I think that is going to come in and lift the hood under a lot of different things in the world we live in, the US here, whether it's government, politics, business, this, that. So I think we're going to have a lot more transparency coming in 2025, meaning the jobs report, for example, that we get that seems to be off by last year, almost 1 million jobs. Like, how is that possible? Or also thinking, like, is the economy really doing that great? I just feel like we haven't got full transparency from the government, from any of this data, from the information. I don't care if it's Republican or Democrat, they're going to need to make some changes. So I'm hoping this year we get a lot more transparency of what is going on. What are really the expectations? Is the economy good or bad? Has the Fed or anybody been politically driven? Because all that's going to be out the window. Now it's going to be really like, let's get down to business. Let's get down to how the economy is doing. How are jobs? How's the consumer, right? How's inflation? In this real estate market that we're not getting much attention to, it's slow, it's sluggish, the commercial market's worse. So are we going to see that transparency that I'm hoping to see that's going to shed more light on what we expect? In transparency, meaning, are you actually going to figure out how to create or incentivize to get more homes built, right? Or incentivize how to get more ADUs built, or incentivize how to get rates lower, right? Or get things moving in the real estate market? Because honestly, there's a lot of people that need to refinance on millions and millions. And there's also a lot of people sitting on the sidelines that want to sell their home and trade up. And then there's a lot of renters that are tired of renting that want to go out there and buy a home, but it's so unaffordable. It doesn't make sense. So I think we need more transparency in our business. So moving forward in 2025, with some of these things that might take place, that might change, how is that going to look and what can we expect moving forward? So let's say you are on the fence and you want to buy a home. Let's just talk about the buyers right now. Look, I get it. Maybe you feel like you've missed the boat. And trust me, if you're sitting here going, oh my gosh, we should have bought in 21. Prices are higher now. Rates are higher. This doesn't make any sense. And I get it. Because if you've been living since we came out of the financial crisis all the way up till pretty much 22, rates compared to they are now were low. And if you got in 2021, 22, before they went up, you probably locked in a really, really nice low rate. You could be one of the 30% of the people that have a 3% or less. Maybe you're one of the 75 that have a 4% or less, or maybe you're still one of the 90-ish percent that has a 5% or less, right? And obviously 90% have 5% or less, 75 have a 4% or less, 30% have a 3% or less. And obviously there's percentages that have 1s and 2%. Yeah, people actually have 1s. And that you're locked in, you're loaded, and you're not going anywhere. Good for you. But if that's your friend, you're over here going, I didn't buy, prices are up, rates are up. We need to figure something out here. And that's why we're having this conversation. So what are some of the things that you can do? What are some of the things that are going to come out in 2025 that I'm seeing from my side, that guy that posts content, the guy that reads the data, that might be helpful for you? And let's go through them and let's see if we can help you out. Number one is home prices. How are we going to get home prices down? Well, unfortunately, folks, I don't think home prices are going to come down. I think we're stuck where we are because we're just not going to build our way out of this, and we're going to have issues when it comes to inventory. So number one, if you're expecting home prices to really come down further, I'm not. I think we've had some moves in markets like Austin where they've come down 10, 15%. So there are markets that have come down. I don't know if you're going to continue to see a decline over in these markets. Maybe you will. So number one is we need more inventory. Hopefully that will happen. Number two is we need rates to go down. Look, I know we've been talking about rates going down for a long time, and sometimes they go down, they go back up, because we're living in unprecedented times with just crazy things going on. We're coming out of COVID where obviously everybody knows, we printed money, we threw money at everything and everybody, and obviously that caused mass inflation. And then we jacked the rates up to slow everything down. And here we are, December of 2024, as I shoot this video, we thought rates were going to be lower. We thought there'd be more inventory. So we're stuck here because we realize people are stuck with those low rates and those low payments. They're not going anywhere. So we need rates to come down to make it more affordable. We really need them in the 5s. I'd appreciate they're in the 4s because it would help things move along at this point in time. Going back to 2 or 3, if that were to happen, that means we have some type of crisis going on. So I don't know if that's going to be really a good thing or what you want to hear, but that is the truth. So I would probably say 2 or 3s are off the table. 4 and 5s are most likely. I can see that happening easily. Home prices, stable to low, maybe go up a little bit. Inventory, we need it to grow. Well, I think we'll continue to see it to grow. Interest rates, Feds are going to continue to cut rates. Depending on how the economy does, it could move rates up or down. And then obviously rates are projected to keep going down as we get into 2025. One thing on the interest rates I like to point out, when Trump comes in office, his whole administration, you're going to see lots of things happen right away. One of the things I'm very, very excited about is the Department of DOGE. If you don't know what it is, go look it up, go check it out. It's basically the Department of Government Efficiency. Vivek, Elon are coming in. They're going to recommend things to slice, to dice, to get rid of, to cut expenses. So if they mention things like that, that could potentially in the short term hurt the economy, slow it down. For a long-term gain, that's the whole point of this. We could see some announcements that could spook the market and then interest rates could come down. So keep that on your radar. And remember, if I told you that, you heard it from me first. So what can you do if you're a home buyer knowing that there hopefully be more inventory? Hopefully home prices remain kind of flat. Maybe in some areas like Austin or Florida where you're at, you could see some significant deals because of there's a lot more inventory or there's a natural disasters, things like that. And unfortunately, people do take advantage of that. So out of those basics, right? The rates, the inventory, that stuff, what can you do? Number one is you have to get pre-approved up front. The thing that I'm seeing for a lot of people are moving jobs. And so they went from making salary plus commission. Now they're making salary. There's no commission, or they went from making salary to salary commission. Can you use it? Can you not? Also credit. There's a lot of people that have like some type of medical collection or some type of late or this or that in their credit. So make sure You pull some free score that says, oh, I have an 800, and we pull an actual real score and it says 720. You're like, Kenny, your thing's junk. No, it's not. Mine's real. The credit we pull is hard. It's real. So make sure you are getting your income checked, your credit checked, your job history checked, your living situation checked. Make sure you have the reserve to buy down. Make sure you are prepared financially. If not, that you have actually gone down the road with a lender and got a game plan of how you're going to buy something in 2025. Don't worry about talking to a realtor if you haven't done that, or looking at homes, because what's the point? You're just wasting your time, in my opinion, because you're not ready. When you're done with the pre-approval process, you have confidence. So that means that if you're going to go out and put an offer in or whatever, you have the confidence that you went through this. So getting pre-approved, getting all your stuff, running you through the automated approval system, pulling your credit, all that. When you put the offer in, we can tell the seller, here's the information. He's ready to go. He, she, you can close in 10 days, 15 days, 21 days. So be ready, be proactive, have your money ready, and be prepared if you're renting, if you're living with the parents, whatever, that you can get out of the place, or you're prepared to close in 10, 15, 21 days, close quick, be competitive, and show that confidence to the seller that you mean business, that you've done this, and the lender and you are on the same page. And also always get your lender, your agent on the same page. Everybody's communicating. Everybody's aware of what kind of offer we're putting it in, whether it's quick contingency, longer contingency, quick close, longer close, whatever it is, you're ready. You want to make it happen and you want to knock it out of the park, but you want the sellers to feel that. So if you want them to accept the offer, if you're in a place like San Diego where it's more competitive, you need to do that. Also, we need to remember in 2025, if those rates come down, you're going to be in a much more competitive environment with much more people coming off the sideline buying homes. So you're going to have to say, what do I do to separate myself? So always be in that mind frame that I should always be putting offers in that are the most competitive in every aspect, not just price, but price, who's behind you, what the low contingencies, maybe remove contingencies, close quickly, talk to your lender. They say, oh my God, the lender sounds good. Talk to the agent. Make sure you're confident. Do you have your insurance agent? Do you have a home inspection person, right? Do you maybe have a contractor you need to walk the house? Do you have a lender, right? Do you have your agent? Get your dream team ready so you can have success in 2025. Do not wait till you're ready to put an offer in tomorrow. Start working on it right away. So how do you know as a buyer if you can get a deal, if it's a good time to buy, a bad time to buy, if you can get a deal, how things are sitting? Here's a couple of things that you can look at without an agent, right? If you don't need one. Number one is you can go on Zillow, Redfin, whatever, and start looking at properties. Couple things you're going to look at. Number one, how long has this property been on the market? 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. So longer it's been on, that means obviously they're not selling. I know you know that. But then there's a reason why they're selling. Are they stubborn? Are they stupid? Do they not know? Or are they just overpriced? Most of the time, things don't sell because of price. That's what it is. Because if the home that was for $500,000, $750,000, $800,000 that you wanted to buy, and you could buy it for $1, everybody would buy that home for $1. There'd be a million people in line, right? So obviously, if it's not selling, it's price driven. So what you want to do is figure out, what is this worth? How do you do that? Start looking at comparables. Oh, this one sold. It took 30 days, 45 days, 60 days. So you start looking at stuff that's listed. You start looking at stuff that's sold. You want to look at stuff, if you're trying to get a deal or trying to negotiate, is stuff that's been on the market longer. Sure, a house could come out right off the bat. If you think it's overpriced, then let it be. You can put a lowball offer in, but they might ignore you. You can say, hey, my offer's here. I'm ready when you're ready. If you don't get anything, call me back. But if you see something on the market, let's say 90 days, you want to go, well, I don't know what it's worth. You could call your agent. But if you're just trying to do homework on your own, you want to go look at similar properties that actually sold recently and say, oh my gosh, this 4-bedroom, 3-bath over here that was listed once at 800 sold at 750. This one that I'm looking at is listed at 825, and it's as nice or not as nice or the same. It should be selling for 750. They're way overpriced. Okay, I'll offer 750. Right? That's one of the, that's a little hack there that you can use of what else something sold. Then you can show the comp. Hey, look, that's why I'm writing you this offer. This comp sold here. How do you think your house is worth more? Data matters. Data drives. The other thing is, the biggest factor that you cannot research, look up, and all that stuff that's going to look on Zillow or Redfin or stuff is you got to talk to the agent, and you got to get information out of the agent. And your question for the agent is, what is the motivation for the seller? What are they looking for? What do they need? Figure out the motivation of the seller. What do they want to do when they want to buy or sell? I don't care if you're buying a primary or investment. Oh, it's a lot of times people are selling is death, job, divorce. If you're in the military, you got to move, partner split up, they need cash, whatever. If they tell you, oh, they're getting divorced, there's a lawsuit or a partner split up, or they need the money fast, whatever, That's how you know they're under duress or under stress. So they've been out there on the market and they're not getting an offer. That's where you can go, hey, 90 days, hey, look, 750, I can do a quick close. I'm serious. I'm real. And you put an offer out there. So have you ever heard of guys that flip properties or buy properties off market, or you see their billboard or advertisement on YouTube or Instagram or maybe on TV? It says, I'll buy your home, call me. Those guys are constantly doing those infomercials, doing those ads and everything because it works. And I know one of them that does it at the largest scale. Does it work? Absolutely. If it didn't work, they wouldn't do it. They're spending a ton of money on marketing, tons of money, millions of dollars. Because what you don't know and what I know is what they know is that they're looking for the person that needs to sell quickly, that wants to know BS, that wants to close cash quick. They're looking for the person that says, that's me. I need cash in 10 days. I've got a problem. I don't want to sell my house to somebody else. I'm embarrassed. It's a dump. It's a shithole, like whatever. There's a reason why people call those people and get less of their house. That's what you don't understand. You're like, why would they do that? You could have sold to me. Because they didn't want to sell to you. They wanted it to easy. And they know those guys market that we're easy, we're quick, and we're fast. So if you're dealing with a seller and you know they're a little desperate and you know they haven't got an offer, or the offer fell out, the best one is it went pending and back on, it fell out, and they're frustrated. You have to be that buyer. I'm real. I'm serious. I'm confident. And I can close. Call my agent, call my lender. That's how you get a deal, folks, if you're looking for a deal. And this time of the year right now, during the holidays and stuff, when you watch this is the time to pick up a deal. If somebody's selling right now, this is the best time to sell. Spring, summer. It's why there's more houses, more buyers. You always get more money. This is the worst time to rent your place or buy your place or sell your place. If you're renting, there's less people looking to move, right? If you're buying, there's less people looking to move. It's just common sense. It's just supply, demand. That's what happens when you've been in this business over 20 years like me. I just know this stuff. So if you're a seller and you want to sell your property, yeah, I'm going to go into that right now. Look, number one is price matters. If you're going to overprice your house and you're going to be unrealistic, nobody's going to take you seriously. So if you're like, oh, just throw it on there, let's see what happens, cool, no problem. But don't expect serious. Expect when people go, oh, I'm going to lowball you, and you're good, that's ridiculous. You'll get the lowballers right off the bat. They'll just throw a number out there and say, hey, if you're ever desperate, you need it, call me, I'll give it to you. Then you have somebody else says, hey, your house is worth $1 million, worth 900,000. That's why I give you 900. Oh no, it's worth $1 million. Cool. You might get another offer. But if you're going to try to maximize your value of your house, then you need to make sure the person that you're looking for, it's not the flipper, it's not the wholesaler, it's not the guy that has the ad, it's not somebody looking for a deal. You're looking for somebody that is going to fall in love with your house, that's willing to pay more than it's probably worth because they love it and they can't live without it. So does that mean if that's you, then you better have your shit in a row. The pictures better be good. Your realtor better be good. Your curb appeal better be good. You better have decluttered your house, painted. So what I'm saying is, the bottom line is, if you're trying to sell your house in a tough time or trying to get the top dollar, and you don't want the lowball offer, and you don't want somebody to jerk you around, and you want that buyer that's going to give you your price that you think you can get based on comps and it's there for the right house, you need to go find a house that sold that was your price and go walk it if you can. Maybe there's another listing or two on your street. Go walk them. Go check them out. See what they're offering. See why they got an offer. Go look at the pictures if you can't walk it. See the difference. If your house doesn't look like that, or there's some upside, or you have a view and somebody else doesn't, or whatever it is, and it's not going to happen, can you get it there in a reasonable amount? And maybe you're going to have to put in $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to sell your house. So right now, let's say you want to sell in spring, summer, you're trying to get a number. Now's the time to do your market research, to go and, declutter your house and move stuff out and paint it, get it fixed up. If you put 20 grand in, could you make another 100, right? If you put 5 in, could you make another 50? If you put in 50, could you make another 250? I don't know. But what do people love? Curb appeal. They love kitchens. They love flooring. They love bathrooms, right? Nobody's really looking at the roof, the plumbing. Yeah, what I'm saying is they love all that stuff. But what gets people, their heart going, their emotion, and where I'm going to overpay for a house, not because you have a new roof, you have new plumbing, things like that. No, it's going to be like, hey, the curb appeal is amazing. This house layout's awesome. It's just the paint. I fell in love with the house. Like, they want to buy the house as is. That's what you're looking to do. And that's how you can out-compete your competitors. So how we learn in real estate, it's very simple. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Is if somebody already sold the house that you kind of have and you like the price they got, then go research what they did. Call the agent, interview the agent. Maybe you don't have to use them, just interview them. Hey, I'm thinking about selling. I might use you. How'd you get this, that? Oh, this is how we did it. Perfect. Go spend the time instead of bitching and complaining about how you're not going to get the price or you didn't get the price. Go do the research, go do the homework. Are you willing to invest the money? If you have zero money to invest, then you might have to live with, hey, this is what it's going to sell for. And that's really the bottom line. In wrapping up 2025, for a lot of people, they're scared. They're like, I knew president this, but also 2025, it's going to be a year of change. It's going to be a year of transparency. I think there's going to be quick action taken as Trump gets in, whether you like him or not. It doesn't matter because he's in. And the point of this whole video is about you buying or selling a home in 2025. And are you prepared and you do all the steps? I mentioned a few here today, but before I let you go, let me mention a few stats, what people see. So that way I'll leave you with some data of what we think is going to happen. All right, this first chart, you can see home prices are forecasted to rise in 2025. Nationally, it's 2.5. You can read all the different Goldman Sachs, Fannie Mae, NAR, all that. You can read all those facts. So that is the projected housing data. More homes are expected to sell. So they're expecting in 2025, they're expecting 5.2% more homes to sell. Fannie, MBA, Wells Fargo, all three average are expecting by the end of the year 6.2, Q1 6.05. 6%. So that by the end of next year, the average, I think he's going to be in the high fives. We'll see. I think, like I said, through a couple of chains I mentioned, they can get there actually faster by just not whacking us for all these crazy hits on loan level price adjustments. In this chart right here, people think there's going to be a crash. Take a look at how much equity people have in their homes. $35 trillion of equity. There's so much equity there that we'd have to have a major, something crazy happen here to have a housing crash. We are having a housing recession because there's not enough houses selling. And last but not least, if you ever wonder in this chart, if builders are overbuilding, there you go. They're not overbuilding, they're catching up, they're far behind. And remember, if rates remain higher, it's tougher for the builders to make sense of stuff. So builders need to keep building, but how do we get them to build more? How do we get more housing stock? There's a couple ways to do that, but number one is you got to remove the red tape. Number two, there is a lot of vacant, dilapidated houses out there that people are there's no motivation to fix up, sell, rent. So incentivize mom and pop owners. Maybe they own a home or two that's sitting there. There's no incentive. There's not incentivized to sell. Maybe we can up the capital gains from 500 to $1 million. Maybe if they sell the house, a first-time home buyer, there's no capital gain. So we're going to have to encourage things to get more inventory and growth like that. So anyways, guys, my name's Kenny Simpson. Thanks for watching. If you don't know who I am, I focus on 1 to 4 unit financing. I've been doing it 20 years, funded billions of dollars loans, helped over 5,000 clients, and I shoot content like this because I want to educate and help you, the potential home buyer, refi. Maybe you're selling and you just want to learn more about the process, more about what's going on out there. And today, obviously, as you know, we discussed what's going on with interest rates, with selling, with buying, what's moving the needle, qualifying, how to get ready, how to be a better buyer, how to be a better seller, and what to expect in 2025. But look, I am very excited for 2025. I think we're going to have blood life into the economy, into our political system. I just think we're going to get things moving, whether you like it or not. It seems like we've been flatlined and we need to get some new blood and we need to get some stuff going in there. And I think there's some immediate changes that people can look at, as I mentioned before, with the loan level price adjustments or getting the spread between the 10-year and 30-year fix and how to get the rates down. You could see a place where interest rates by the end of next year around, it could be at 5%, not 5.75. And I hope they're not at 5.75. I hope they're closer to 5. And we can really help clients out, people buy, refi, all that stuff, because we need it. And commercial market needs it more and more than you think. So there could be some slowdown next year. There could be some interesting bumps in the road as they cut things, they announce things. But look, overall, bad news is actually good news for rates, and bad news is maybe not good news for overall economy. But look, almost 160 million people are employed. That's a lot of people. People are still buying, shopping, paying their bills. Overall economy is doing pretty dang well, even though people feel like they're holding on or getting choked by inflation. So appreciate you guys watching. Hey, share this with somebody. Pass it along. I know you know somebody that needs to hear this. If you guys have any questions, want to reach out, get on a call, text, Zoom, whatever it is, feel free. Below is my information, my contact. Let's connect. Let's chat. Talk soon. Have a great day.